Real national security has two components: strong foreign policy and a strong homeland security. For all of us who live here on Staten Island and in Brooklyn, we're reminded almost every day, if not every day, of 9/11 and that moment when terrorists came onto our shores and attacked us. Whether we take the ferry over to work in Manhattan, or for those of us on the North Shore, simply look out our window, that day and the horror it brought comes right back to mind. We can never again allow terrorists to attack us on our soil. So how do we stop them? Well, it's a strong foreign policy first. That means keeping weapons of mass destruction out of the hands of rogue nations, like the leadership of the Islamic Republic of Iran or that of North Korea. Through sanctions, through isolation, and through working with friendly allies in the region, we can change the dynamic in these places. It of course also means pursuing terrorists wherever they are now and wherever they are going. And right now the fight is in Afghanistan and the border regions of Pakistan. But it's already moving to places like Yemen, Somalia, Algiers. We have to be able to pursue terrorists across the globe, and I strongly support a policy of doing just that. We have to keep our partners in check at the same time. Just recently it came to light that some of the people with whom we're working in the Pakistani government leadership were aiding and abetting Al-Qaeda and Taliban operatives. That is simply intolerable, and we have to draw a clear line in the sand. There's no gray on this issue. There's black and there's white. So if we pursue our enemies abroad, what happens when they elude our capture and come towards our shores? Well, we have to have a strong homeland security. And for me, there are two things that I'm focused on: our ports and our border and immigration policy. Right now I'm standing on the North Shore, not far from the Howland Hook Container Terminal in Port Elizabeth. It's one of the busiest ports in the United States. 435,000 containers pass through this port every single year. And we really don't know what's in them. Why? Because this government has not provided the funding, the manpower, or the focus to deal with one of the biggest security threats which we face: our ports. At any given moment, an Al-Qaeda operative can smuggle a dirty bomb in a container into this harbor. And the results would be devastating. In 2006, government spent $25 billion on securing our airlines, or trying to at least. And while that's a good thing, they only spent $800 million on our ports, and only 45 or 44 million of that here in New York. That's simply not enough. This is too vital of an asset to leave unchecked. To make matters worse, as we spend ourselves into a hole, whether with the healthcare bill, cap and trade, stimulus, bailouts, as the bill keeps going up and up, we're being forced to sell some of our vital assets, such as that very container terminal, to overseas interests. The Howland Hook Container Terminal is owned by something called Overseas Oriental, the principal of whom is a senior member of the Chinese Communist Party. Ask yourself, does that make sense? The second component of securing our homeland is, of course, securing our borders, not just to our south, but to our north as well. And while a lot of people say simply build a fence, you and I know that building a fence is not enough. We need border patrols, we need enhanced technologies along our borders, because the truth is, if the poorest of people can float into our country under the cover of darkness, what's to keep a well-trained and well-funded Al-Qaeda operative from doing the same? So we need real border security, and we need it now. But the problem's bigger than simply securing the borders. We need an immigration policy that works and that's enforced. And it's there that our Congress has abdicated its responsibility, as articulated in the Constitution. As the proud grandson of Italian immigrants came to this country legally, I know the power of immigration and how good it is for America, how truly American immigration is. But legal immigration and illegal immigration are two very different things. So we need to find those people who are here illegally and send them back home, to make an example that the law cannot be broken without consequences. And we need to go after employers who employ people here illegally and break the law. We have to take away that incentive to come to this country without documentation. And we have to get those people who are here and who we can't find, we have to find a way to get them onto the tax rolls. Because one thing I will not stand for is people being in this country and not paying their fair share. Thirdly, we have to stand very firm against bills like the DREAM Act, or laws like the DREAM Act, that Congressman McMahon so proudly supported, which allow for immigrants to simply come here illegally to have a child as a way of skirting the law. This is wrong and it needs to stop. You know, Arizona was forced to pass a law recently. Florida is about to do the same, and many other states are as well. Is it going to come to that here in New York as well? The federal government needs to act. The time for excuses is over.